Atlanta Community Profiles, a show about living in Atlanta and purchasing a home here. Community Profiles is hosted by Lou Whelan, who will talk to experts who know this ever-changing city and its real estate industry. We'll talk to mayors, community leaders, and residential real estate experts. Now, here's Lou Whelan with this week's Atlanta Community Profiles.
Hello there and welcome to our show. My name is Lou Whelan. I publish the official relocation magazines on Atlanta and that are distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. We've published these since 1994. We have 5 publications, one for Inside 285, one for the metro area, one for North Fulton in partnership with the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce, one for East Cobb in partnership with the Cobb Association of Realtors, and one for Gwinnett County in partnership with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. The publications are available in most all real estate brokerage firms and chambers of commerce at no charge. Stop in, pick up a free copy. They're also on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. Please check the website. There's a great deal of additional information on the website about Atlanta. And I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties. And my website for that is LouWhelan, WIELAND.com. Be happy to help you with any of your commercial or residential real estate needs. And so every week we interview community leaders, people who are contributing to the well-being of our great city. And today we have a special guest who I think can provide some pretty valuable information to you about your investments. Our guest today is Mike Ventry. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, Lou. Thanks for having me on.
Mike is the business development manager of a company here called Ivanta IRA. And he's had 15 years of experience in the mortgage banking industry, providing superior customer service, which is his area of expertise. He has a MLO license. And first of all, let me ask you to explain what is a MLO?
Mortgage loan origination.
Mortgage loan origination. There you go. So, with the federal government and state of Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, he assists clients and investors by providing them with education and knowledge to learn about self-direction. And we're going to learn about what that means today. He regularly teaches a 3-hour CE class on self-directing for realtors. And I became acquainted with Mike at one of those meetings. He's also a frequent attendee and guest speaker at real estate and non-real estate associations and networking groups in the Atlanta area. And so Mike is lived in the Atlanta area most of his life. He's over 40 years, almost 50 years in the Atlanta area, a local guy, somebody that we know who he is. We can see him in face. He's not somebody that you talk to on email or some other distant type of communication. And so the purpose of our show today is to explain to you a different investment strategy, a strategy whereby you can take money from your IRA or 401k, from your real estate or from your stocks or bonds, and invest it into real estate. And I know that some of you might not understand that concept. It's not that easy of a concept to understand, but it is something that is being done more and more by many, many people, including myself. Actually, I started doing it in 1990, and I bought some houses and apartments in 1990, and it's been fantastic. But Mike, tell us a little bit about Ivanta IRA, your organization, and how does this investment strategy work?
Well, Advanta IRA, we're a custodial administrator that, yes, allows you to use your qualified retirement account, 401ks, IRAs, ESAs, HSAs, to invest in alternative assets, other than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Real estate, obviously, is the most popular. Lately, last couple of years, you see every other commercial on TV and the radio is put precious metals, put gold in your IRA. And people are slowly finding out they can also put 123 Main Street or mortgages or gold or all these other assets other than what they've traditionally been doing. And it's, I heard you've been doing it since 1990. That's a long time. It's actually been on the tax laws since 1975. So people have been able to do this for 40 years. They've just now been really hearing about it. And just in the last several years, there's already $3 or $4 trillion invested in self-directed accounts, primarily in real estate. So it's a fast-growing alternative to using, your regular savings type of investment. It's a new source of capital for people.
Now, a lot of people, or most everybody, I'm sure, will say, I don't really want to touch my 401k, or it's all I have for retirement, or my IRA, because that's it for, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are very, very careful about what they do with those funds. And what would you say to those people?
Well, the first thing I'd say is, if you look at real estate has never been worth zero. So if you talk to the people who had real estate in their IRAs back in 2009, 10, when the real estate market collapsed along with the banking industry, they'll tell you they really weren't stressed out. Their rental property that their IRA owned, that tenant's $800 a month rent check was still going into their IRA, tax deferred month after month, whether the house was worth half or not. So there's a lot less stress. You have more control, where if you watch the stock market where primarily your 401ks and IRAs are invested in, you could lose 20% in less than 20 days, sometimes in 2 days. You just don't have that swing, especially in real estate. It's a lot more stable asset.
So what we're doing is, on behalf, as a realtor, what I'm doing is putting together an investment pool of money to buy commercial real estate, and we'd like to invite you to join us as an investor in that investment pool of real estate. And we will be working with Mike and his company to help administer those funds. And one thing that you may not understand is the fact that that money that comes out of stocks, that you sell stocks, you generate cash, you move those over into a self-directed real estate IRA or 401k, no tax consequences.
Because it never leaves a qualified retirement plan. It goes from one custodian to the next. It's the actual IRA is the buyer on the contract or the investor in the fund. So the person's directing their IRA funds, but just like their IRA buys Microsoft or Apple stock, they can, invest in alternative assets. That's why there's no tax penalties or consequences.
So in other words, you can sell your IBM stock, take that money, and put it into real estate, IRA, in your real estate.
Transfer it to another custodian that will allow you to hold real estate.
Just like it were another stock.
That's right.
Same thing.
Exactly.
No tax consequences whatsoever.
Fairly simple. People tend to overthink it.
So tell me, can you give us some examples of maybe people who've tried this and been happy with it, or do you work with individuals or institutions, or how do you do that?
Yeah, if you look at people that are, some people are buying, real estate with their IRAs. Some people are acting as a mortgage company where their IRA loans money to an individual buying real estate, and their IRA holds first lien position and collects the mortgage payments. And then a lot of people are starting to get into investing in real estate professionals like yourself, experts of the area. Instead of, if you look at your 401k or your IRA right now, you'll notice that a lot of the options are real estate funds where someone 3,000 miles away, a hedge fund manager maybe, is picking your real estate investments for you. So it kind of makes sense for you to use a local expert and invest in real estate in your area. So you see a lot of people investing in these funds that real estate professionals create, and they invest locally.
So I can tell you right now that if you are interested in participating in this investment fund of real estate, you will know everything about what we do. You will know the individual pieces of real estate that we purchase, and you will have an opportunity to use different investment tools or mediums such as loaning money or being an equity partner, or whether it's, and you will also be guaranteed a specific interest rate, which we would negotiate individually with you. So welcome back. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we'll be talking more about different ideas and ways that we can help you. So stay tuned.
Expert in investment
that we negotiate individually with you. So welcome back. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be right. Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan, sitting here with Mike Ventry, Business Development Manager at Advanta IRA, located in, his company is located in Piedmont Center, and he has a real office. You can go there and actually shake hands with him in person if you'd like. My office is in Dunwoody at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties, and we are talking today about a self-directed real estate IRA and 401k. And we were just talking at the break about some of the differences that we offer, that I offer, as an investment, as an investor, as a realtor. And Mike just told me during the break, don't forget to remind people that in these kinds of investments, you can actually see the investment. You'll know exactly what we're buying, and you can actually go see the investment. So how do you see that as an advantage over some of these other real estate investment trusts or far-off investment strategies?
Well, that's why I was asking you, the location of your investments, are they going to be local? Because one of the things I've heard over the years from people that have been doing this for a while is, Mike, I used to go out to the mailbox every couple months and say a little prayer over it when I knew my 401k statement was in there and hope it got better. And then I started investing in real estate, and I would go to the rental properties that my IRA owned and actually walk around on the property. Mm-hmm. And, for people that are investing, they can go visit these projects that their IRAs invested in instead of just getting that envelope every now and then. It's real, and it gives people a lot more sense of security, mm-hmm. That you have a tangible, hard asset that you've invested in instead of some fund 3,000 miles away.
We'll be investing in some of the things we talked about are office buildings, medical office buildings, perhaps single-family homes to be used as rental property, Airbnbs, all kinds of different investments that you'll actually get to know firsthand what we're doing with the money, and you'll have a voice and where your money is invested. And now tell us a little bit about, Mike, tell us a little bit about the benefits, again, of knowing the specific area that where their money is, being a local versus out of town, and in terms of comfort. Have you seen and experienced investors who are more comfortable with that kind of feeling of security?
Yeah, well, there's really two types of investors. There's your real estate experts like yourself, and then there's someone who is related to or knows a real estate expert like yourself. Mm-hmm. So these different areas across the country, you hear about, oh, this state is great, this city has been really hit hard, now's the time to come in. Your real estate professionals in your local area are going to be able to be the masters of that particular environment. So that's the best time, and the best scenario is to invest in your own local community. Obviously, if you're investing in an apartment complex or a Airbnb, it's nice. You can go by and check on your asset, within a 15-minute, 30-minute drive,
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a lot more sense of, stability for people.
Mm-hmm. And I do publish and for almost 25 years, I've published the official magazines about Atlanta for the realtors that they all use. So I know the area extremely well. I'm an expert on Atlanta, and I have a great deal of experience in selecting investment properties for my own personal portfolio. And I am the local expert on Atlanta and the best avenues. But I think what people would like to know a little bit more about is, number one, how do I open an account? What's the first step?
Opening an account is relatively painless. It takes 5 minutes, and it's an electronic application. It's docu-signable. We send the transfer request to your current custodian for you, or if it's a 401k or an old employer plan, they'll make the check out to your new IRA. Funding your account could take 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 weeks, depending on what account and who you have currently that you're going to send the funds from. So your account, once it's funded, you find a real estate investment, you can pull the trigger, usually within 24, 48 hours. Mm-hmm. So it's really like a cash type investment. So there's not a mortgage that's going to take 30 days or that sort of thing.
Now, I know that you have certain rules and regulations that prevent you from talking about gains, potential gains, but it does seem to me that really historically investments in real estate have proven to be more profitable than the stock market. I think we can pretty much conclude that in general.
Yeah, a lot of our clients tell you, they're not a real estate, professional by any means, and compared to what they've been seeing the last several years to a dozen years return on their retirement account, flipping a house or investing in a real estate fund or a rental, the returns are just by far, it's hard to you can lose money obviously, but it's really hard to not make more money than you've been seeing in your traditional retirement accounts.
We'll be doing flips, buying and flipping and remodeling, and we'll be buying some apartment buildings and restaurants. But Atlanta has been one of the hottest markets in the United States for many years now, and the future looks extremely good. Tell us a little bit about the statement that people will receive, on how regularly they will receive it, and what that statement would look like from of their investments.
Well, as far as their Advanta account, they have 24/7 access to see, their IRA account. If they're invested in something, obviously they're going to have to go to that investment provider to get any sort of status on that sort of thing.
Okay, so now tell us a little bit about Advanta IRA, your history, your background.
We've been around since 2004. That's all we do is qualified funds. That means that's all we do is IRAs or 401ks. We don't handle any private money. Our corporate office is down in Tampa, Florida. I'm here in the Atlanta office in Buckhead, Piedmont Center. We have free lunch and learns every other Friday in our office. Great education. No one's selling anything. Lunch on Advanta. Different options that you have to invest in. Our website, AdvantaIRA.com, has the Learning Center, which is just slap full of videos and webinars and educational material. People could spend days in there just getting their feet wet.
But the advantage of working with an investment professional such as myself is that you do not have to know the market, the real estate market. That is my area of expertise, and your area of expertise is managing the process and doing the administrative work and making sure that we do abide by all the rules and regulations of the IRS, because I know that can be a little frightening.
Yeah, that's our function, and it's just one source of capital for people to invest, and they can partner their regular funds with their retirement account funds if they want to invest even more. So it can be a good beneficial leg up to get them going.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. My name is Lou Whelan. I'm sitting here with Mike Ventry, who is with Advanta IRA as a business development manager. The company is located right here in Atlanta in Piedmont Center. And Mike has been in the banking industry for many years. And let me ask you this question, Mike. How did you get into this area of finance and money management from the banking industry?
Well, right about 2010, 2011, when Dodd-Frank passed and was starting to kick in full force, was when I started to look in the financing industry for other opportunities. And I found out about self-directing, like a lot of people. Never heard of it. You know, surely there's got to be something more to this. It sounds too good to be true. And then found out, people have been doing it for 40 years. And I now am able to work with the same couple thousand realtors. Instead of bringing a mortgage, it's more of a cash closing. So I'm not the enemy, I'm the best friend.
Oh, good. Now, the question is that one of the big advantages that real estate has over stocks is leverage. Mm-hmm. Explain leverage to people in the real estate, if you would. Just
Sure. Well, as the IRA is the buyer of the real estate project or the investor of the real estate project, the IRA can also be the borrower of a mortgage. It's called a non-recourse loan. And we see a lot of times people will get into more investments because they'll leverage a little bit on a couple different things, or they'll have a relatively small account and they'll leverage a lot of that particular investment. So the non-recourse loan, those non-recourse lenders, they're all over the country. They're national, they're local. You can check with your local real estate association. All the vendors, they do non-recourse loans now. The non-recourse loan is very low risk, as people tend to take care of their IRAs and make sure their IRA pays the mortgages, so there's a very low default rate, and that's very important for lenders. So when you say low risk, they're interested. So sometimes you'll see 20% down required, and sometimes you'll see, if there's enough equity in the deal, the after repair value is high enough, they're going to go off of that, not the purchase price. So you can see people get 100% financing sometimes, but most of the time it's 20+% down. Their IRA's paying the mortgage payment. The IRA holder is not allowed to use their credit or guarantee the note. The IRA can't be held as collateral. Only that investment can be foreclosed on. That's why it's called a non-recourse loan. And there are tax consequences to the percentage you're borrowing. That's a little bit longer conversation, but that can be something to look at.
It can happen within your IRA or 401k.
Yeah.
And you can purchase, for example, $500,000 worth of real estate for $100,000.
And a lot of people's strategy, if they know they're going to be leveraging and they're self-employed, they're going to open that 401k instead, because the 401k, the solo K, is not subject to that tax that IRAs are. Mm-hmm. It's called a UDFI tax, but the solo K is not subject to that tax. So you'll see a lot of your savvy real estate investors that do a lot of leveraging, they're doing it with the 401k.
So the rent that is rent revenue that comes in goes into your IRA and is not taxable. Is that correct? Unless
you've leveraged, and then the percentage of that investment that's leveraged is subject to that tax.
I see.
Unless it's a solo K, and then it's not.
Okay. And then there's the Roth IRA, which is not taxed, right?
It's not taxed. However, if you leverage an IRA, no matter what it is, you're subject to that tax if you start leveraging.
So tell us a little bit about some examples of you've seen in Atlanta, of single family versus apartment buildings or restaurants, or what kind of examples have you seen right here locally that have been successful?
Well, me personally, I'm seeing a lot of real estate professionals like yourself and experts start creating these funds and pooling people's funds together, whether it's IRA funds or it's their private cash, to get into bigger things. Senior assisted living facilities in Georgia, they can't build them fast enough. There's a waiting list for most of them. Mm-hmm. That's very popular. Apartment complexes, strip malls. And you see a lot of these funds, built up where people can pool together. You still see your single family and your multi-home, and apartment complexes are becoming more and more popular, which is another tool for people to pool their money together. So There's a little bit of both, and then there's that whole other side of the self-direction where people are using their account to loan money to other individuals, which could be a real estate experts LLC that's buying apartment complexes. So they can lend, they can buy, so it's a double-sided tool for them.
And we will be adding another component to the equation, and that is a guaranteed return on your investment of X number of dollars, and we would negotiate that based on your percentage of equity versus the guaranteed return. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. And goes into your eye. So the rent that is rent revenue that Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan, sitting here with Mike Ventry of Advanta IRA right here in Atlanta in Piedmont Center. And I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties. I've been publishing magazines about Atlanta for the realtors for almost 25 years. And they are available in all the realtor offices and chambers of commerce, or most of them at least. And so I'm an expert on Atlanta. I know the city very, very well. I've interviewed many of the mayors and key opinions and leaders. I know the city and I have a very good pulse on the direction of the city. And I would love to work with you in terms of helping you to manage your investments in real estate and through your IRA or 401k. And I've chosen to work with Mike and his company because I've gotten to know the company through his classes that he takes, which are given to realtors, and those realtors in turn receive credit for taking the classes.
Yeah, CE classes.
CE classes for their to maintain their license. So the realtors the board has come to know your company, recognizes the credibility, and has a great deal of respect.
We also teach the 2-hour CPU classes for CPAs and attorneys. Online webinars through Incorsa, and that's very popular, which helps, CPAs and closing attorneys stay up with the guidelines. Same with, realtors, the 3-hour CE class. Just the fact that you attended that class shows that you're on the cutting edge of the latest, fastest growing transaction in the country is the the IRA transaction, where sooner or later, as a realtor, you're going to be at a closing table where either the IRA is selling something or the IRA is buying something. So it's impressive when you see, these realtors spending their time to get caught up on the latest.
Yeah, the website, your website again is, tell us the...
AdvantaIRA.com.
So if you go to the site, you'll learn a lot more about the process. Now, let's just take an individual who comes into your office. Okay, I'd like to do this. How do I get started? Tell me the process we go through to begin the administration of the investment.
Sure. Once they fill out the DocuSign application, which is all electronic now, their account's opened up same day. Now we're waiting on their funds from their current custodian. They're assigned a personal account manager. That's one of the real big differences between us and other custodial administrators across the country is the others, when you call as a client, an IRA owner, the 1-800 number, it may be on West Coast time. It's a different person every time you start over from scratch. When you open an account with us, which I was saying is same day, you're assigned a personal account manager that I say to people, you're married to. This person never changes. You know their phone number, their email address, and whenever you need to make an investment, this same person. So your account's open, you find your investment, you get your investment paperwork to your account manager who signs it on behalf of your IRA, who is the investor, which is how this all works in a tax-deferred universe. And then you also select with your account manager how you're going to fund your investment, whether it's a wire or a cashier's check. And like I said, the whole process now is electronic, so you can pull the trigger once you find an investment and get it to your account manager, sometimes in 24 hours, 48 hours max.
So the account manager is sort of like a stockbroker in a way. He's at least the way you interact with this individual in a similar way that you interact with your stockbroker.
Right. Other than the big difference is they're not giving you any advice. You're bringing to them your investment, and they're facilitating the process to keep your investment process compliant with the IRS, so you don't incur any sort of ugly tax consequence. That's their main function.
And that's
keep you out of trouble.
And that's where I come in. So I will be working too with you and your personal account manager to make sure that you make good investment decisions, and Mike and your team make sure that we do everything in accordance with IRS rules and regulations.
That's right.
So now your company has been in business for since
2004.
2004. And how did I know we talked earlier about how you got involved. How did your company get involved in this industry? What was their big idea, and how they launched into a pretty interesting and unique kind of industry, you might say? Yeah,
I mean, the owners of Advanta, Advanta's privately owned company. They are the attorneys for much larger self-directed IRA custodians that have been in business for, 20 plus years. And they were the attorneys that worked in that company. And I guess the foresight they had, obviously now they're looking like, they crystal ball type of thing, but they could see the writing on the wall. And I would imagine here in the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see a lot of the other bigger financial industries, your Schwabs, your Fidelities, start to get into it, because like I said, they're already losing $3 to $4 million already in the last several years of people doing real estate.
Great to have you on the show, Mike. And your website again is?
AdvantaIRA.com.
And if they would like to reach you, how would they do that?
They can call me at 1-800-425-0653. I'm at extension 1133.
Or send me an email, lou@louwhelan.com, and we'll set up a meeting, work with you and with Mike, and get you started on what I think could be an extremely life-changing opportunity. And now stay tuned for Dr. Bill Williams, Chairman and President of Swanee Dental Care, our dental health expert.